Hi everybody. So I'm just doing a little update here, and I want to introduce you all to Picasso. So I just got Picasso a couple of days ago, and he is a Tennessee Walker. I'm going to stand next to his head and you can see how tall he is. Put your head up. Show everybody your pretty face. Show everybody your pretty face. Huh? So he's quite a bit bigger than my last horse. So it turns out my last horse died 2 years ago when she was 32 years old. And I didn't realize it until a couple of weeks ago that when she died, she left a really big hole inside of me. And I wasn't really in depression, but there was a part of me that was missing, and I didn't even realize it until Picasso came into my life. So Picasso and I are still getting to know each other. And so the story behind that is how he came into my life. God and the universe brought him over to me, literally. So one morning, several months ago, I woke up to my dogs barking at about 6 o'clock in the morning. And I look out the door, and here's this horse walking down the street. And I was just going to let it go, and I thought, no, if that was my horse, I'd want somebody to catch him for me. So I got dressed and ran down after him. By the time I caught up with him, he was clear down to the creek. So I was a little bit hesitant in getting him to come back with me because I didn't have a lead rope with me and he didn't have a halter on. Hi, baby. So anyway, he ended up continuing on and on his little journey. So I went to go get his person, his owner, and by the time we got back down to the creek, he was gone. So we're walking back up to my house, and I was telling his owner, well, you know what? All the stray animals end up at my house at some time or other, so he might show up again. And sure enough, just as I finished saying that, we approached my house, and there he was, standing in front of my house, munching on some flowers. So I knew then that there was something up with that. And I got some more insights within the next month that I was supposed to do something more with him, but I wasn't quite ready. So I kept ignoring it. And his owner was not in a spot to care for him properly because, well, anyhow, long story short, I kept resisting it. But I kept thinking about him, and I kept worrying about him, and was he getting enough attention, and was he getting enough to eat, and you know, all those little things. So, because where he was being kept, he was by himself, and he wasn't getting a lot of attention. So anyway, I kept telling myself, don't worry about it, Carol, just let it go, you know, the angels will take care of him, etc. And so as soon as I accepted, she asked me one more time, his person asked me one more time if I would take on the responsibility of caring for him, and she would share him with me. I thought about it some more, and I realized that he and I had kind of a destiny together, that we're being brought together. And that was when I realized, when I really started to consider it seriously, was when I realized that something had been missing inside of me for 2 years since my old girl died at the age of 32. And as I began to consider taking him on more seriously, I became more and more excited, and I started to feel alive again. And happy, I mean really happy. So I want to do more with him, and I wanted to do it the right way. So I've been doing some research and studying some stuff and trying to find as much as I could on natural horsemanship, because I am not a believer in force. You know, I mean, you have to have leadership qualities, but I don't believe in the whole forceful thing. So anyway, I came across these two fabulous trainers, and one is, his name is Klaus Hempfenlinger or something like that, and the other one is Monty Roberts, and a lot of horse people may have heard of Monty Roberts already. Anyhow, the work that they do with the horses is phenomenal. So my point is that as I was researching that and bettering myself as a horse person, wanting to know the language of horses, their body language, etc., I began to realize why Picasso is, and I keep wanting to call him by my previous horse's name, but anyway, which does mean something to me. It means he's supposed to be here with me. But, so the point is that what I discovered as I did this research, and why he is in my life, what he is going to help me with, is self-mastery. So, if we stay open to our personal 3D and spiritual growth, and that is our true desire, then God and the universe will begin to bring instances and people and animals and experiences into our life that will help us to grow, that will help us to become better human beings. We are living on a third-dimensional Earth, which is rapidly changing, but still we are. We're in physical bodies, and our lives consist of physical objects. But we can't forget that part of ourselves and the rest of everything all around us that does not have a physical component. So we need to find that balance between our physical selves and our spiritual selves. And in order to do that, we need help. And this is my helper. This is one of my newest helpers. So the whole thing about working with horses and doing it in a non-threatening and non-forceful way is that horses read body language. They read your energy and they read your body language. So if you come up to a horse like this, you know, hunched over and slow, you're not going to be perceived as a leader, as somebody who has self-mastery. So if you stand up tall and straight, and they call it in the horse industry, they call it squaring up. So if you do that, then the reaction that you get from them is completely different. So what I'm going to do, probably in another video soon, because I will be getting back into them again, is to put in a clip of how this Klaus gentleman works with his horses, and how the horses transform in like a minute, literally. It is completely amazing. And but the thing is that we can use that in dealing with, in helping ourselves to grow and becoming masters of our own lives and our environment and the situations that we come into, and we can use it in our interpersonal relationships too, because, so I don't want to make it a really long topic, but in order to partner up with a horse, horses are prey animals, and they're looking for a leader. They want somebody that they can trust. And in the horse world, a leader doesn't hesitate. You don't fidget, and you don't hesitate, and you don't hunch over, and, you know, they stand up tall and straight, and they say, this is what I want, and that's how it's going to be. Right. See? He says yes. Anyway, So when you learn to do that inside of yourself, and I recognize now how that had starting to be, that was starting to wane from within myself after I lost my girl. I started to become less and less masterful of myself and my own life, and kind of just letting things happen, and maybe taking a step forward every now and then moving back, or saying, well, yeah, I'd like that, but you know, only if it's meant to be, sort of thing. And you know, like, yeah, I'd like to have him in my life, but only if it's meant to be, that sort of thing. And you don't want to take, because when you step up into your self-mastery, you also have to step up and take responsibility for yourself and for everything that is going on in your life. And I had started to dwindle. I was shrinking. And the mastery that I had begun to acquire and exhibit in my life, in every part of my life, was beginning to soften and almost dissipate. And so this young man here, who's only 10 years old, or 10 and a half, comes into my life at the perfect time. Now, he came into my life several months ago, late spring of last year. No, it was summer of last year, of 2018. That's when the universe wanted me to step up and start taking control of my life again and stepping into my self-mastery. That's why they brought him forward for me at that time. But I wasn't ready, and I didn't recognize it. I mean, I knew there was something there, and I felt it. I felt the connection, and I knew that there was a reason for it. I didn't quite understand it, but that's because I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't ready to step up to the plate again and start taking control of my life and doing more. So now I am. So I'm going to be making more videos with Picasso, and let you know how that goes and how it works with my own intrapersonal, my own inner self-mastery of myself and my environment and my living circumstances, etc. So the other thing that I recognized, and he's only been with me a couple of days now, but the other thing that I recognized about myself is how inconsistent I've been. Like with my videos, for example. I know, put up a couple, then don't do anything for a while, then maybe put up one, then don't do anything for a while. And it's not just with my videos, it's been like that with a lot of things in my life where I've been very inconsistent. With a horse, in order to get the horse to work with you and to respect you and to respect you as a leader, you have to be consistent. So that's one of the things he's going to help me with, is my consistency. So, because in order for me to be a good leader for him, so that he trusts me and to keep him safe, I am going to have to delve more into self-mastery, and I am going to have to become more consistent, and I'm going to have to become more reliable, and I'm going to have to stand tall and straight and strong more often. So I'm going to let it go at that, because it looks like a neighbor is stopping to check on my horse. All right, love you all very much. Talk to you soon.